second to last session of the day. Bear with me. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be great. So yes, I'm Morgan. I work at Vercel. What we do at Vercel is we allow front-end developers to focus on creating what they care about, which is the front end. And we handle all of the back-end infrastructure that they don't want to be thinking about. So it's pretty cool. The TLDR of my talk, I like to just be upfront, tell it to you right now. So if you're bored as fuck and you don't want to listen anymore, tune out, go on TikTok, X, whatever. The TLDR is that marketing to developers, as Cynthia would say that I work with, is not that deep. The core tenets of marketing to developers is the same if you're marketing to any audience. You need to know who you're talking to, you need to know what you're selling, and you need to speak to them in a way that they understand, but specifically for developers in a way that is not going to make them cringe. Don't be like that. They hate it. So this is the gist. This is the gist, but it is hard. And the reason why it's hard is because marketing to developers as a non-developer is not easy. Do you even understand what you're talking about? You don't use the product that they use. You've never walked a day in their life. Half of the times you read Slack and you're like, oh my God, these people, I don't get it. But there's ChatGPT now, there's Claude, there's all these things that should help you. Do not be lazy. There's so many ways for you to get information that you need to better understand them. So key, 1, know your audience. It's like the principle of marketing. So tips, devs hate most marketing. And I say most because they don't actually hate all marketing. They hate sloppy, lazy marketing. And I also hate that. Oftentimes they think of marketing as advertising, and anytime they hear like fluffy words that don't actually describe things well, upsets them. And they immediately want to X out, click out, not actually engage, never fill out your form. But if you do it well, they don't hate it at all. And they often think of it as product strategy. That's where PLG is like so prominent for these dev tool companies. But we all know that a lot of that is still marketing behind the scenes, but they don't even realize that it's us that's doing it. So that's tip number 1. Do not get discouraged. I remember the first time I sent an email when I was working at GitHub, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to reach out to these people that are on our self-serve plan, give them a reason why they should upgrade to enterprise, and of course they're going to click it. And that's because I came from Zendesk, where I marketed to customer support people, and they're the nicest fucking people ever, and they click everything. I was like, oh, this is going to work out. And I had to read every single reply to, and everyone was ripping me to shreds. I remember this one engineer even wrote me back, it's so clear that a marketer wrote this. Here's how you should actually write it. And I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And so then I went over to the SDR team. I'm like, use this copy. It's so much better than what I wrote. So again, they hate most marketing, but if you are not lazy and you really know who they are and what their pain points are, they're not gonna X out. Second, build versus buy mentality. So engineers like to build. Their first question is always, oh, should I just build this instead? And I think knowing that this is how their brains operate really allow for you to create better experiences for them, and just know exactly how you should position your product so that when they reach that point of, should I even go through with this? They don't, and they purchase your product instead. So I always like to keep this in mind. It's something that we easily can forget about as marketers because we don't actually build the tools in our day-to-day jobs. But this is who we're selling to, and this is how they think. The third one, and this is very timely because at Vercel we talk a lot about the homepage, but the homepage is very sacred to engineers. Do not screw up your homepage. And I think if your business is PLG, the reality is the homepage is for the IC developer. As much as we, on the pipeline side, really want people to hit contact sales and convert through the homepage and speak to the CTO, it's really for the engineer to look at the page, make sure that you know what you're talking about, and then feel confident going to their boss or their boss's boss to say, we should buy this tool, I don't want to build it, and they know what they're doing. And so don't screw up the homepage. Second one, or last one here, I'd be remiss. I work at Vercel, unsurprisingly, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but do not slow the site down. I know you want to add Mutiny and 6 Sense and da-da-da and da-da-da, Intercom, all these tools, they slow the site down. And then when an engineer comes to the site, let's say to the homepage, and they see how slow it is, they've lost confidence in you. So really think twice about all the tools that you want. If you haven't audited all of the JavaScript on your website in a couple of months or in a few years, go revisit it and cut as many tools as possible. You do not need all those tools. Maybe, no, Common Room you don't need on the site. Yeah? No.
We do website tracking, not for you guys.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's just some quick tips about knowing your audience. The second one is understanding the product. I didn't spend a ton of time here about giving you all these examples because this is just something that you all need to spend time really reading all the documentation at your work, reading all the docs that your PMM team are writing you, listening to gong calls, asking questions to your engineers. Like I said before, with all these tools with AI, there is no more excuse as to why marketers do not understand the product that they're selling. You can ask it to put it in metaphors so that you could better understand, but you really should be in the driver's seat of making sure you understand what you're selling. But it's really clear to developers that you actually understand the product when you have really good documentation. So docs are chef's kiss. First, what they do is they go to the homepage, then they go to your docs. They're like, do these people know what they're talking about? Again, should I just build this on my own, or do I feel confident in giving them my money and I'm just going to buy this? So if your docs are not straightforward, not giving the right information, they're going to X out. An example of this, and shout out to Elaine, I'm going to just give her credit even though she changed jobs recently. I'm going to say this was all her. But Sentry's docs are great. And what I love about this example is it's talking about best practices and giving you some content. This is actually marketing, and it's just in the docs. It's really tasteful. But what's even cooler is that up here it says ask a bot. I mean, hello, know your audience. Every engineer, every developer is thinking about AI right now. Really subtle, really well done. I love this. Here's another example from Stripe. This is in their documentation. So it's giving all of the information about the product. It then gives a code snippet, but what's even sexier is it has additional 10 lines of code that you can unfurl and check out. So here, instilling a lot of confidence in the engineer that you know your product and you know what you're selling. Now, you're probably thinking, I'm in marketing. I don't write these docs. Well, developer marketing is not just the marketing team. You have to be working with all these different people in your company, and you don't need to feel bad that all of these ideas and all of this output is not yours. It's a team sport, and this is how you get better. So third thing, speak in their language. Obviously, again, easier said than done, but there are some tips of how you could do this. So the first one is code snippets, please. I think this is an example from Bun's website, and a lot of other developer websites do this as well. But if you click on any of these CTAs, the code here actually changes. So really just speaking directly to the audience, whoever's coming to this website's like, okay, cool, I got the little bit that I need. I can get going quickly. We've chatted a lot about this billboard today. If you haven't seen it, now you have. This is the first billboard that Vercel did earlier last year. This is NPM, the package, speaking exactly to the developer. We knew that most people were not going to understand what this was, and we were perfectly okay with it. But again, this instilled confidence that we know exactly who we're talking to. We can speak to them in their language. And no, I did not come up with this all on my own. This was actually something that one of the engineers wrote in Slack, and then someone was like, yo, that'd be cool on an ad. And I was like, let's fucking buy billboards. And that's really how it came to be. Within a matter of weeks, we bought the billboards and we slapped it on there and got a lot of responses that people were like, wow, you see me and billboards are back. So that was really cool. This is a more playful way that doesn't have to be on your website, just showing the versatility of how you could use code snippets. The second one, very related, demos, not memos. Developers hate when you tell them something and you don't show them something. So just show them. And again, that's why PLG is such a successful model for dev tool companies. But demos are really important. I should have honestly taken a GIF of this. But if you go to GitHub's website and you go to the features Copilot, you'll see this huge demo that they created. And it shows you exactly how Copilot is working. That is another great example of what you can be doing to speak their language, show them the product without actually having to have all this fluffy words that don't really mean anything to anyone. And the last thing here is templates or examples. Earlier this morning, Camille was talking about Notion and how they used all of those templates to help build out their community. Same holds true with developers. We use a lot of templates at Vercel, but this is an example from Supabase. So if you go on Supabase's website, you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see that instead of having all these CTAs to get started and fall into the funnel and click this button, it's really a lot more helpful in saying, hey, if you do want to get started, here are these tools for you to get started easily and get going. So they have a Stripe subscription starter, Next.js, and an AI chatbot. I probably would flip the AI chatbot first, just given the market right now, but if Supabase marketers are here, you can change that when you get back. So that's really it. I also ended early. I didn't think that was going to happen, but questions? Yeah.
Really just a piece of praise and telling you something you already know.
Tell me.
Oh, no, yeah, please, by all means.
Please don't. She doesn't need any more. I work for her.
You're welcome. You were at my table earlier. So in terms of developer marketing,
Yeah.
you had me instantly with three things. Black background, white text, monospace font.
Yes.
That attention to detail in terms of the developer audience, they are more developer attuned than that high school English teacher that terrifies your nightmares. So bravo.
Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts? We have 1 minute and 53 seconds. All right.